So here we are. Assalamu alaikum, Sobia Khan. How you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Malik. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
I'm getting very comfortable sitting here and having these conversations. Looking forward to it every week.
Do you know what? Likewise, I'm looking forward to it. It's nice. It's nice. And I really appreciate all the feedback we're getting as well, which is good, which is really good. This is Sobia Khan from Afia, healing from Serenity of Mind, Body and Soul, who specializes in healing, expert all throughout the country online, and specialize in healing tools and techniques. And myself, Malik Ayman, Rise Up coaching teenagers, children and adults. We are really looking forward to today, the 9th, Wednesday, the 9th of March, 2022. And we're talking about decisions, direct decisions by coaching. So I wanted to start with a quote, and I've got it here. I kept it here, which was a really good quote, which was from Waldo Emerson. He's known as a poet, American poet, and his quote was, "Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen."
Wow.
Powerful.
That's following the law of attraction and what you're manifesting, right?
Yeah. That's right. So law of attraction, yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting conversations because we're on the same route, me and Malik, as doing the work that we're in, but we have totally different approaches.
Yes.
I use an Afia healing modality, which actually emphasizes on looking at your emotions. And we're on a great topic today because we're making easier steps to understand ourselves, our long-term goals, and
Yes.
decisive decisions is a great topic to talk about because there's always a point in our life where we have to make decisions, big, small, minute. Every day we're making over 100 decisions on a daily basis, some in a routine basis, some we have to actually stop and think. And I found this topic really interesting because whereas Malik's going to go the performance-wise and productivity-wise, I will be taking a different approach, which is actually taking a step back, regulating your emotions. And that is whenever any situation arises in our lives, and we come through so many, and I get so many clients, especially when they're coming about health issues or whether it's about marriage and things like that, they'll always say, I've got cloudiness, I don't know what to do, I'm stressed. And when they start talking, I can feel all the tension that they're carrying just to make the right decision for them. And you know, it's so draining. You can understand what their body is actually going through. And my approach is to actually tell them to stop, take a step back and breathe, and really breathe from the belly. So nice deep breath in through your nose to the count of 5. And big belly breath out. And you do this a good 3 times. And what happens is the belly breath resets the neurochemistry in the body to regulate emotions, get the oxygen pumping around the body again, gets the blood pumping again. And once we're in a calmer state, we can actually look at our life and say, right, is this right for me or isn't it? And then we go through the approaches where we look at self-limiting beliefs. What is it about making this decision that is scary for you? So that is my approach.
It's amazing because, as you said at the beginning, we're coming from different approaches, but we do connect because. And today, on purpose, I'm wearing the 5 Pillars Taekwondo top, not my Rise Up top, because I actually thought a lot about our movements, our body movements, as you mentioned this about the breathing. Now, we're making a decision which is in the head and which affects our heart, but also, as Sobia said, it affects us internally. And we have to make that decision, and we have to make that decision continuously. We're making decisions as we go through our journey in life, from whatever age, children, teenagers, adults, we're always making decisions. One of the things that I always say, we come back and we say that the coaching technique, which I use a lot for many of the different things, which branches off from it, is PPP: plan, prepare, make progress. So you have to make a decision at the beginning of what you're going to plan for. when you're making a decision of what it is you're going to make a decision for, you need to plan for it, you need to prepare for it, and then you can make the progress. We come back and we say to ourselves, the root meaning of decision, because it's always good to go back to what is the meaning of what it is I'm trying to do. If I'm going to play a game, if I'm going to do some studies at school, I'm going to look for a job or marriage or life, whatever you're looking for, you must know to make a decision. And that comes back to one of the meanings we've got here for the Latin meaning of decision. Decision, the root word of decision comes from two words, decidere, which is Latin. It means de, meaning off, and cadere, meaning it means to cut. So you're cutting off from something. You're going to have to cut something off. So we made a decision to have a talk here, Instagram Live. We've decided to cut everything else out of the day off. It's a decision. It's also with choices, and it comes with boundaries, because then we look and we say, what are the other options? Yeah. I could be with another client. I could be with family. I could be treating myself. There's many options, but the decision has to be that we've made a decision based on the options. This is where we come back to the PPP, the plan, prepare, and progress. And when I connect it to the martial arts, you have to make a decision that you want to improve yourself and you're developing. So you have to decide that you have to take that breath. So they said, they take that breath, and then you decide if you're going to block, if you're going to strike, if you're going to use the hand, what level, what position. Comes back to making that decision. It's a very important part. But once, another quote which I got here from Jim Rohn, which is amazing personal development, he says, you cannot make progress without making decisions.
Totally.
So we can run from it, we can sweep it under the carpet, we could try and avoid it, but you cannot make progress without making decisions. You can make progress, but you're going to make progress for someone else, or progress on someone else's journey, but you can't make progress for yourself without making a decision.
So I think like the most important part of that is, if we break it down, what is the outcome that you actually want for you? I think when we look at that intention, so we come back down to intentions. Again, every week we're repeating ourselves. But intentions are so important. What do I want to benefit? What do I want to work towards? Nowadays, we tend to find we just want to quickly jump to that hurdle. We forget the steps in between. We forget to do, like I remember in school, they taught us SWOT analysis. And I was thinking, when am I ever going to use this? But sometimes you actually need to go back to your strengths, weaknesses, and what are the opportunities and threats, and actually work through them. Write them down. See, is this right for me? What is it that I'm fearful of? And it's very interesting that we're talking about this, because if you think about it, the brain makes hundreds of decisions on a daily basis.
Yeah. Continuously, as you think, go back to the hurdles there, and I relate that back to, and this is, you'll find as you listen to this talk again, or take notes from the talk, as Sobia said correctly, we're coming from two different approaches, but we're still approaching the same destination, a decision. The hurdles, I come back to the sporting side, the high performance side. You look at Usain Bolt. People only see the end result. He's the fastest man in the world, 9.58 seconds. But you don't see the decisions that he's made to sacrifice for over 20 years, not 20 weeks, not 20 months, not 20 steps, 20 years to get to that decision of where he's now. It has to be the best. You look at Michael Jordan in basketball, taking over 9,000 shots. And you only see the result of 3,000, saying he scored 3,000. He made a decision. We look at Kobe Bryant, who made the decision to sacrifice the time to be better. In a school, when he went to school in Italy, where he didn't speak the language, but he knew the language of basketball, and he communicated through basketball and decided to be his best. So
Amazing.
Again, it comes back to what we say, as Sobia says there, the tool, we're repeating ourselves, but we're using the tools of coaching, the plan, prepare, progress. What are you planning for? And we go back and you would hear it if you look at our previous talk. Those who plan for nothing usually get nothing. Those who plan for something usually get something. So you have to be able to make a plan of what it is that you want to decide. And one of the good steps, we've got different types of decision making. We look at group decisions, brainstorming, break even. I like the group decisions because a lot of times, even as coaches, we need to make a decision, and sometimes you might need to go externally to someone else to help you make that decision for you, or to assist you in making that decision. So a group is always, in a group is always stronger. And then you look at the other decisions where you say brainstorming. So you look through different scenarios. What would be right? Should I take X? Should I take Y? And writing these down, again, we come back to the planning. We come back to what Sobia said, breathe, because we can rush into the decision. I've done that many times, and we rush into it, and then we say, take a step back, and we breathe, and we plan, brainstorm. Is it going to break even? So another part where we look at parents, and I say to all the parents out there who have just recently, some of them in England just got their decisions for their school choices. You've now got to make decisions when you've got parents that are saying, I'm going to move house, I'm going to live in a different area because I want my child to go to that school. Is it the right decision on a break-even basis that I sacrifice everything, yes or no, to move house for that education, for my child? Decisions have to be made.
Definitely, totally agree with you. And like, if we take it from an Islamic perspective, we are taught to seek counsel. So and it's seeking counsel from the right people. And people tend to say, oh, I'll just tell my little group circle. But not everybody's intentions to you is right. So choose your advisors carefully when you're asking for counsel. Go to the professional, go to the people in that field or who have experience in it, and who know you, who know your habits, who knows what your weaknesses are, to help you, guide you forward. And talking about brainstorming, you know, I love it when you start mind mapping and brainstorming and things like that, because I find a lot of people show me their phone. It's like, no, not on the phone. I want to see it on paper. Write it down. Your eyes visually need to see you writing it down on paper. You need to work at it that way. And that's always amazing. And, you know, when we look at, I mean, every day I look at this quote by Kervin Ray, and I love my quotes. Yeah. So he says 50%, when you're making a decision, 50% upside, 50% downside, but 100% optimistic. So where your decision is, you've made that decision. Now, what is that biggest decision making, the negative side of making a decision? Is a failure. We always look, oh my God, what if this happens? You know, then automatically our self-limiting beliefs start from it. How would you help a client with that?
That, as you said, that comes back to part of the decision-making process where you have to be commanding and assertive in your decision-making, assertive. And if you're not an assertive person, you know that sometimes you may not be able to make a strong decision, then that's where you go back and get to what you said, take a step back, seek help, expert help, not from just a friend, but somebody who, sorry, let me correct that, somebody who has your heart, your best heart and interest. So they may tell you the information you may not want to hear, but they've got your heart at their most core concern. So it might be, I remember a lot of times when I do career coaching and I tell people X, Y, Z, and they say, oh, but Malik, this and that. I say, yeah, your friends have told you that, your parents have told you that, but I'm giving you professional advice from being a career consultant for years. This is based on now career coaching. When I give them advice on making decisions for their children, a lot of times I say, we'll come back to making a decision based on what we know, not what we don't know. Make a decision on what we know. So when I'm coaching children or teenagers and adults, let's say careers, whether it be on decision-making for motivation for the next steps, has to be on what we know. You go back to the SWOT analysis, what you said earlier, so which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If we really know the strengths, we really know the threats, we really know the weaknesses, opportunities, then yes. But when we make those decisions based on just our emotions, then we find that we tend to make the wrong decisions. It may seem at the time that we're doing an easy option, but what's easy is not always what's best.
And when we're talking about stepping back without emotions, what does that actually mean? Everyone always says, how do I get back? And I'm like, you need to create a neutral baseline. So you need to literally step back, get to your normal state. And what is your normal state? It's getting back to a state where you don't let your past decisions phase you. That was the past. You've got a couple of years or weeks knowledge more ahead of you now. You have the tools now. Look at your self-limiting beliefs, what you need to work through. And look at the filters of information around you. That's very important. We need to be in a conscious state. And how can we do that when we have to step back? Now, if we have to make a decision and somebody is stressed in front of you, step back, give them a step back position as well. So you both get into an emotional calm state. And that, for me, is very important. And the most beautiful thing about decision making is your gut. This is where the gut plays into. It's such a vital organ in our body. Listen to your gut. When we get that butterflies, our body is telling us something's not right. Okay, I'm getting anxiety. There's a bit of fear coming up. What are those fears? Listen to your body.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes. I just run through just a process that I use with people to improve decision making. Please put your comments in the box below. We'll read them out if anyone's got any comments there. So step one, make a plan. What we said already, make a plan. Make a plan. Step two, be assertive. Again, control of what your decision is going to be about. Be assertive. And when you make that decision, be in control of it, be strong in it, conviction in it. Number three, we've said it again, and we come back again. Ask an expert, ask a coach, ask somebody who's qualified. I don't mean just somebody who's qualified, yes, but someone who's got the experience in that area. Number four, keep perspective. So you keep perspective of what it is you're trying to make the decision about. So we keep very laser focused. We keep very focused on it. Number five, set a deadline, because we can keep that decision going on and on. So especially for like school, for marriage, for relationships, with friendship, what's the deadline that I need to make that decision by? And once you've made it, go back to step two, where we said be assertive, stick to the deadline. Number six, look at your options. Look at your options. So realistically, your decisions are to go to, argument say, just an everyday decision. We're going to a meal. Does that restaurant serve the food I want? No. Yeah. Okay. The other restaurant does. Is it close enough or within my journey? Yes. Great. Realistic. What are your options? And number seven, use that SWOT analysis. My strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you used those tools. A lot of them, as we said already, both myself and Sobia said, A, make the plan. B, be assertive. 3, ask a coach, someone who's an expert in it. 4, keep perspectives as to what it is you're making that decision about. 5, the deadline. Number 6, look at the options you have. And number 7, the SWOT analysis of the strength of it, the weakness of it, the opportunities, the threat. Yeah.
And I would also say to that, have confidence in what you're going to decide. Believe in it. Once you make that decision, say, okay, I've decided this now and I'm going to work through it. And just say, for example, that decision isn't right for you. Well, then, make amends. There's something you can do. Don't have that level of high expectations, because honestly, no wonder you get cloudiness all over. I've got a message from Tina here. She had to leave. She's saying, what would you do if your parents have pushed you into a profession, must be Asian, a profession that you do not want to do, and you are now harboring so much anger and resentment because you cannot progress forward? So I think that's a lot of the thing where we are making decisions. What happens when it's the wrong decisions? We don't progress further.
Yes. In a snapshot answer, it's not the full complete answer, because again, decisions and choices are only made on what information we have. So from what you've just said, Tina, there is, you're in a situation whereby you're pressured, you're forced into doing X. So we have to look at the boundaries. What are the boundaries realistically of what we can do? Now, I don't know the whole story, so I could be giving you the wrong answer, but to the best of my abilities of what you said, it comes back, and I'm coming from the sporting side. As Sobia said, we're coming from different approaches. Her name is Begum. I can't remember her first name. Kickboxing champion. Begum. Oh, her surname is Begum. Kickboxing champion. Okay. She was go for it.
I know I'd say Wilson, but I forgot.
No, I think her name's Rehan Begum. I think it was. I will find the name and add it.
That's your field, not mine.
Yeah, I should know. But she was powerful. She's just written a book as well. She, like many people from Asian, African background, where you're forced into certain traditional paths, she was not allowed to do kickboxing because it was dominated by men and wearing different clothes and wearing all the different things. So think of all the connotations there. She had to practice in secret. She had to practice in secret. When she became the world champion of kickboxing, you know exactly what happened to the parents. That's our daughter.
Yeah.
That's our daughter. So I'm not giving you the exact answer, but I'm just giving you insight as to, if you know your boundaries are tight in a certain area,
Yeah.
you're going to have to work to do the other thing you want to do as the outer perimeter and work double hard, because your boundaries are restricted, constrained, to be able to prove to them that while you forced me to do, for argument's sake, you forced me to become a doctor, I was also studying to become a film actress or whatever it was. I was studying and I achieved it. So you have to put in that extra work to achieve what you want to achieve and to be good at it. Be good at it. Yeah.
And then I agree with you 100% there. And I love that connotation you showed there, because the way I would then look at it would be, you're going to constantly be in a conflict stage till the time you are independent enough to make your own decisions. So you need to be able to express clearly, communicate clearly, to say what you are good at and what steps ahead you do want to go ahead, and find out what their concerns are for putting you in this type of industry. And we get that a lot, especially with decision making after it's university, then it's marriage, and then it's, it's constant, that external pressure that we have around us. And now social media has a big play to it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I would just add as well, there's a saying, I can't remember who said it, but there's a saying, it's easier for you to push a mountain than it is for you to change your parents' decision. Now, you say to yourself, wow, so that's good, then I've got no hope. But then you say to yourself as well, you say, look, we have to be realistic and say to ourselves, now, as Sobia just said there, it's like the way you present it.
Yeah.
The way you present it is so important, because remember, we all have belief systems within us, and it adds up to decisions. We have belief systems and the fear of the unknown. So for argument's sake, your parents are pushing you and forcing you into becoming a doctor. That's all they know. That's all they know. So for you to now say you want to be a music singer or something, they don't know any better about music singing. So they've got a negative approach to it, a negative connotation to it. Your presentation of how you present to them that you want to be in that music industry or other than the medical has to be well presented. And then again, you need to seek the help from experts, because your friends may send you astray with the best intentions. Just do it and be firm and stand up and be bold. But they're not going to look after you. They're not going to care for you when it all goes wrong. They're going to be there for you when you're crying and bang your head. So you need the right advice around you to how to plan it, prepare it, and structure it. It may be, and I know this is unfortunate news, I always say to people, it may be that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to accept it if you know you plan to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to accept it if you didn't plan.
And you did the best that you could. And once you know, okay, I did my best. Okay, right. Now what can I do? I just have to move on and find a new direction and find what works. And that's really important. We have one shot at life, but we have to go with the ups and downs. And sometimes some decisions we make on paper, it looks good. Practically, it hasn't turned around. Like I found a lot of people, of my clients, everything with COVID, all of a sudden they've been made redundant. They've had to retrain, and it's actually moving back in a financial cost that they've had to endure during this period. It's taken its toll on everybody's mental and physiology, and we just have to address it as it comes. Okay, fine, there was a social setting that we had no control of. However, now what are you going to do? And these are the perfect opportunities. Don't waste time at home. Seek new opportunities. You can only do that once you are making decisions, and start off small decisions first. When you go to the restaurant, what do I want to eat today? Simple step. Then move on to bigger decisions. And this is why, as parents as well, we're both parents here. Get your children involved in making decisions as well. Let them look at the outcomes from different angles as well, just so that you can start training them on how to make the right decisions for them. And if something doesn't work, don't be hard on them. Just say, fine, this has happened now. What do we need to do? What lessons have we learnt from this? And what can we do to move forward? Because when we don't make a decision, we're stuck.
Yes, stuck in the mud, stuck in the mud, stuck in the mud.
Like one thing I always love saying, I love explaining this example. I get a lot of clients who say to me, what does emotions got to do with it? Peter Living here did an absolutely amazing example of a tiger. He goes, when you actually look at a tiger who's under threat, what do? They lay down, pretend they're dead. And that's with the animal kingdom. They pretend they're laying down, they're in shock, they're in freeze and flight. But then what do? Once the danger has gone, they start breathing in and out, really deep belly breaths, but then they start moving. So what does that indicate to us? If we look at the nature around us, what is nature trying to tell us? After you stopped, reflected, breathed in, taken that trauma out of your body, you get moving.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That touches on a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, where he says 1 hour of reflection, 1 hour of reflection is better than 70,000 years of worship. So 1 hour to reflect. You might not have 1 hour, make half an hour, make 10 minutes. But that moment, go back to what Sobia said again, to breathe, stop and breathe. I want that lollipop, I want that whatever, I want that thing, I want that lover, I want that whatever. Stop and breathe. Do I really have the experience to know the next step after? Have I really planned? And 9 times out of 10, I find that with a lot of clients that I have, planning doesn't exist. Planning is literally, like you said, it's just picking up the phone and asking Google, or asking looking at a positive quote. That's not a plan. That's not a plan. That's not a plan. That's a plan for failure. That's a plan for failure. And then we become angry, and then we get what Sylvia said there, the emotions start to kick in. Why does nobody want to work with me? You haven't got a plan. We haven't got a future of where you're trying to get to. So nobody can, who is in their right state of mind, work with you to achieve nothing. So it really is important that the emotion side of it can be hard. But when you look at it today and then you look at it after a period of time, I recently had two people in relationships. One was thinking about divorce, and the other one was trying to rectify the marriage. And the one that was trying to rectify the marriage, they're having discussions in a group. So there's family members involved, there's other people involved. They're back together. Great. The one who's thinking of divorce, she noted the incident, and immediately she jumped and said, Malik, I need to divorce. And I said to her, hold on a minute. What's the basis of this? X has happened, Y has happened, and that's it, divorce. And I said to myself, I actually said to her, I said, well, where do we just suddenly go from marriage to divorce? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
We have to really sit back and review and understand. And slowly we come back to say, okay, maybe as she's now decided, marriage counseling may be the best step. Because it's better to just stop and take those choices. It will be hard, it will be challenging, but make the right decisions, make the right decisions. And going back to what you said again, Sobia, making the wrong decisions also isn't bad. Just make a decision.
Yeah.
Make a decision. We can always go back and learn from it if we've made a plan. If we haven't made a plan, we're never going to learn. We're going to keep repeating those lessons in life until we're learning what the right outcome is.
Trust yourself, place your trust in Allah, and just put in the hard work of them. Yeah. And that's really important.
Yeah.
Me and Malik always get clients, and the first thing you're asking, it's like trying to get out information, and they're always saying, I don't know. And you sit down and you think, hold on, you're shutting the door to your inner wisdom. And that's a great quote by Lisa Hay as well. She said, every time you say, I don't know, you shut the door on your inner wisdom. So instead, you're not looking at opportunities out there. And this world is full of opportunities. Like when I look back at university, I am not actually doing I'm not in the actual career, what I was doing then. Things happened, and you evolve and you move forward.
But then just to touch on that just a bit, then the thing you did at university helped you as a building block to where you are today.
Definitely. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, again, as I say, listen to our talks. You'll hear that we're saying very, very, very similar things from talk A, uh, B, achieving success, about being your best, about commitment, about confidence. It's about, look at decisions. We're saying the same things: planning, prepare, breathe, connect with yourself. It's all very easy,
Yeah.
but it's very, very hard to put into practice. As Aesop says, after all is said and done, not a lot gets done. So you listen to the talk, I'm going to put it into practice.
Yeah.
Do you put it in practice? No. Do you think about it? Yes. That thinking actually does you more damage if you don't put it into practice. It will only help you if you use it to grow, nurture it and help it to grow. And it requires that commitment from you. You have to make that commitment,
I mean, I laugh because sometimes I'm getting a new interesting generation of students, and they'll say something to me. I want to be here. I want to be there. So I'm like, okay, what are you working towards to get to that point? I don't know. And then I'll just ask them a very simple question. Can you actually do it?
Uh-huh.
And then you can actually see them sitting back and actually thinking. And it's a simple question, but you do need to ask yourself that: am I capable of doing this? Can I
Yeah.
do it?
Yeah.
Do I want to do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Comes back again to the SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, and being realistic. You're saying, well, what's the opportunities that I have there? I look at the students from my 5 Pillars Taekwondo, and I look at them, and I always say to them, and they've heard it before, but some of them who are newer or some of them that have just recently joined, when they hear, I always say, you're never going to be as good as me. And some of them look and they go, who does he think he is? And when I finish the quote and I finished the sentence and I say to them, all of you are going to be better than me. And they're like, really? And I always say it's a waste of time. Any parent, any teacher never wants to see a student be just as good as them. That means you're holding back knowledge, holding back expertise from them. You push them so they become better. So you can be proud of what you've produced, what you've developed, what you've worked with. Just like even working with clients, working with everyone, you want to see the best come out of people. So you use your expertise to get the best out of them. That decision making is a decision from the very beginning. If you can't believe that you're going to do it, you can't believe, don't have that trust, then we're not going to go any further. It has to be that you believe. The person that mentioned there to you about the parents forcing them into a situation, and this could be applied to many things, being forced into doing something. If I don't believe that I can commit to the alternative options or the additional work included to make it happen, then it's done. It's finished. I can't achieve anymore. I have to be able to believe that I can do the extra. Not believe that they're going to change. Believe that I can change to the situation. I can adapt.
Definitely. And I love that point. And nowadays, I would say, because we're in such uncertain times and we're having to change our normal way of living, and I'm finding that a lot of clients that come to me with health concerns, I tend to say to them, have also a conversation with your doctors. When you sit down, ask the right questions to your doctors. Why do you suggest this? Because I find a lot of people come back with the medication or come back with the treatment plan, but they don't know why they're doing it. And that's a really interesting scenario to actually say, okay, why didn't you ask? Because they were in a level of authority, they're in the know. But then now your body's questioning it, your mind's questioning it. These are the questions when you go and somebody's in front of you, they're telling you to do something. And if you don't agree with it, just find out why they're suggesting it. And again, we're breaking it down into simpler steps.
Massive point there, so as you say, from the first thing, and some of you would have heard of Simon Sinek, who's written the famous book. He was on YouTube. His talk actually has got the most views on YouTube. Simon Sinek, his talk is about why. His book is about why. And he talks about how Martin Luther King didn't have all of it. He had the vision, he had the understanding. So it's the why. He talks about why people do what they do. It's not, it's always very important to look at why we do what we do. And then when you ask that question, why, and you have the answer to that why, then you can believe in it and move forward. I was recently with a coach, because we also have coaching as well, and the coach was preparing me for a TEDx talk, and I was asking her why, and she was asking me why, because there's things we have to prepare TEDx is a massive, massive platform. It's easy to say, yeah, we're ready to do it, but we have to know why we're doing it. What's the next stage of it? Otherwise, it's not going to be effective. It's not going to be the impact that we want, the change that we want. So really, really important. Why? There's one that comes from sales, and when I remember working in the sales office years ago, and it says, with them, what's in it for me? You know, you say, so what's in it for you? And if, a lot of times people look at that and they say, it's all about me, but it's actually about the other person as well. If you're in a relationship, it's a decision where it's a joint-based decision, it's going to affect another person. What's in it for you and them? What's the benefit for the people, for people that you're with? So always look at what's in it with them, what's in it for me and what's in it for you. You know, the outcomes of what the decision will be. You know, this life coaching decision is massive, because we look at life coaching decision and it really is making, as Sobia said again, rewind the talk and listen to it and you'll hear the message. It's there where you say, we're making the best possible choices from the options that we have. So pandemic, mental health, spiritual, relationship, pressure, we're making the best possible choices from the options we have.
Definitely. And I always mention the word namaz istikhara, read your salah, read the two nafil, do your dua. It's put in 3 parts to give your problem to Allah, and get the informed choice from the right advice from the right people, and then place your trust in Allah. And once you literally do your dua, believe that whatever will happen what's right for me. And life is, success isn't based on achievement. You need steps where things don't work out for you. I don't like calling them failures. I like calling them, okay, it wasn't right for you at that time.
Failure, I do like failure. I do like failure, because failure, as I always define to the clients, first attempt in learning. You know, I say, keep learning, fail, because the more you fail, you're closer to finding that yes. So when I go back again to sales talk, people say, oh, but I've asked, or another one, you go back to J.K. Rowling with her book, you know, how many times did she get rejected?
Yeah.
It takes that one acceptance. How many times did Muhammad Ali, bless him, did he say that all I need is one prayer to be answered?
Yeah.
So we fail. You have to be prepared to fail. Let yourself fail, and then you can achieve. But a lot of times we have the thing where we say to ourselves, no, we say we have to only achieve instantly. We must achieve at the very beginning. We must achieve at the beginning. Whereas we say, you know, fail. I say people fail. Allow failure to come in. Allow it to come in.
Yeah. I mean, I also find that concept can even work in regards to finding a partner. Like, we have this arranged marriage scenario where prospective grooms come in to look at prospective brides. And for example, for some reason, it hasn't worked out. The amount of pressure, oh, why hasn't it worked out? And you're telling everyone, number one, don't tell anyone. If somebody's coming to see you, or you're going to go and meet a prospective, you know, the whole world does not need to know the who's and the whys and the what. It makes you underconfident. You believe in yourself. And if 2 people don't work out, it wasn't meant to be. Move on.
It's, again, a part of the journey. We're talking about marriage there and partners. It's a part of the journey. And I think a lot of times our perspectives, as we said, decision making, make that plan. So when people say, it didn't work out, again, people can call you failure, people can call you whatever. You've tried. You've put in the ingredients to make it happen, and you look at your plan, your steps of what you took, and you say, well, that didn't work out for X, Y, Z reason. It won't be easy. It won't be simple. It won't be as blasé as I'm saying, but you look back at the steps. What did I actually do in that relationship? What did I make that relationship work on? And then you can now start again. Oh my God, I can't start again. As you go back to what you said, Sobia, the limited belief. How can I start again? It's a new day.
It's a new day.
It's a new day.
And it's always good to even think of yourself in your latter stage of your life. What would you do if you were on your deathbed? Just have a moment to think about it. That if I'm in my last stages, would I want to live a life of regrets, to say, oh, I couldn't do that? Or do I want to say, okay, well, things happen. You know, shit does happen in life, but I'm moving forward. And I made the best of the time and the money and, you know, the opportunities that I had at that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, as I think it's Dr. Miles Monroe. He says the most expensive place, the most richest place on the planet, he says, is the graveyard, because so many people go to their graveyard and they've taken their dreams with them. And
Wow.
you know, he says, live, live, live. But unfortunately, we want to take it to the graveyard and say, well, let them inherit it. And you say, but there were people that wanted to benefit from you. There were people that looked up to you as a role model. So whether you look at yourself as the amazing person on the platform or not, others are looking at you and learning from you from all different situations. As a parent,
Definitely.
as a partner, as a worker, as a influencer, as a mentor, as a guide, people are looking at you, and you have the ability to impact many others too.
And I would also say, connect back to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, can I or can I not do it? Mirror work works so much. Connect to yourself and actually ask yourself what I'm going out to do. Is it good for my akhirah? Is it good for me right now? Is it good? Where can I progress from there? Just take that moment of reflection. Reflection is so important.
1 hour, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says 1 hour of reflection is better than 70,000 years of worship. So you think to yourself, oh, how can it really be? But then what most people want to hear, I'm not, hopefully people don't take it disrespectfully, because I do believe in it as well, but many people look at it and say, I don't want to go on a hippie trail, I don't want to go on a find yourself file. Those things are beautiful too, because they're getting you to connect with nature, get back to yourself, find yourself. Then we can accept. Then we can accept things as they are. You know, accept what they are. Please do put any comments in the chat below. I'm trying to look for some here. Please put in something.
I think we're on everyone's lunch break.
They've made a decision to eat rather than listen.
Fair enough. Go and enjoy your food.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But I'd say again, just those points. I say to you again, just a point. Improve your decision making.
Yeah.
Make a plan. Make a plan. It might take you a little while, short while. Make a plan. Be assertive. Command control of your decision. Ask an expert. Ask someone who's got experience. Coach. Keep perspective of what the decision's about. Set a deadline for what that's going to be. When's the time frame for making that decision? Might be a home improvement decision. Right, we've got 2 weeks to find builders. Might be marriage. Might be school. Might be whatever. Weigh the options. Balance up what the options are and the choices. Strength analysis, SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. That's the framework I would say to you, to share with you, to use.
Brilliant. And I would just add a bit to that. Look at your life holistically. Nourish your body. Allah's given you an amana. Treat it with respect. Speak to yourself with love and respect. Believe in what you're saying to yourself. Speak to yourself with softness. We use the best words to others. Look at yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness and love and empathy. Is when it comes to food, where if you're starting up a sport, activity, martial arts, feed your body appropriately. We forget that. We straight away start feeling, oh, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm not well. I'm tired. I've done a class. But did you eat the right foods beforehand, before going? Did you hydrate yourself whilst exercising? And now, is my body, did I do a cool down session? And am I now resting my body? These little steps, very important.
Massively important. Massively important. It's small steps that make big change.
Yeah. And I would always say, read. Expand your knowledge to the time that you are no longer here. Just pick up a book and read. Get your children in a habit of reading. Internet's a wide vast of information, great, but the feeling of having, sorry, that's my son. If the feeling of having a book in your hand, reading up different people's perspectives on things, it gives you an idea. It puts a seed in your mind to actually think, oh, actually, I didn't look at it from this concept or from this angle. And you know, take your time. Again, there's no timeline in decisions.
Yeah. No, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to our talks. Thank you, everyone, for listening and putting your comments forward. Please do enjoy the talk, share the talk, and give us some feedback on the talk. Things that you liked, things that you appreciated. We're going from A all the way to Z. So, yeah, enjoy that talk.
Next week's E. Let's do this, Malik.
Let's do it. Barakallah. This is beautiful, beautiful.
And just a last reminder, we're 2.5 weeks away from Ramadan. So I hope everyone sorted out their houses and have sorted out what they needed to sort out. Let the month start with your inner self-development, your belief system, building up your body, detoxing, and just building up your connection with Allah and building up your spiritual connection also to your own body, your own self. And look at that decision. If you are going to keep your fast, while you're keeping it, renew your intentions on a daily basis. And also, what connection do you want to have with Allah and work towards it, inshallah.
Ameen.
And
Excellent.
Don't give up exercise on Ramadan, because quite a few people have been saying that to me. Should we stop exercising? And I said I'll tell Malik in our next talk.
No. Keep up the exercising. Keep up. Maybe don't increase it, but just keep up.
And remember, suhoor, eat very well, fiber products, dates, yogurt. Eat nourishing products, and inshallah, you will have the energy to carry on the classes, inshallah.
Ameen. Wonderful. Thanks again, Sobia. Thanks so much. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next week, inshallah. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.